In the stillness of the night, the rustling leaves echoed an ominous warning. Welcome to a world of spine-chilling encounters and eerie experiences, where the brave and the foolhardy venture into the heart of darkness. We delve into true, deep forest camping horror stories where the isolation is palpable and every shadow hides a secret. Prepare to hear tales of those who dared to pitch their tents under the uncaring gaze of the moon, only to find themselves facing the unimaginable. Dare to venture into the unknown, into the deep, haunting wilderness? Picture this: a lone camper, a desolate forest, and a pair of eyes glowing in the dark. Our story begins with an avid adventurer eager to escape the city's hustle and bustle. With a heart full of excitement and a backpack full of essentials, he ventured into the isolated wilderness, oblivious to the horrifying ordeal that awaited him. The first day was nothing short of exhilarating. The brisk forest air, the tranquil silence only interrupted by the occasional chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves. As night fell, he set up camp under a vast canopy of stars, the darkness only pierced by the flickering light of his campfire. But then, something shifted. A sense of unease began to creep in, like a cold fog rolling over a lake. As he sat by the fire, a rustle in the bushes caught his attention. He dismissed it as a forest creature, but then he saw them. Two glowing orbs, like twin moons, peering at him from the inky darkness. A chill ran down his spine, the hairs on his neck stood on end. His heart pounded in his chest like a drum echoing in the still night. Those were no animal's eyes. They were too intelligent, too malevolent. With a rush of adrenaline, he grabbed his gear and began a heart-stopping race through the underbrush. Twigs snapped under his frantic steps, his breath ragged and heavy in the silent forest. He could hear something behind him, the soft padding of footsteps, the low growl that sounded more like a whisper than a roar. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs felt like lead. Finally, he stumbled upon a clearing and could see the flickering lights of a distant town. He didn't stop running until he was under the safety of the town's streetlights, the eyes in the dark, a haunting memory in his mind. And as the camper fled, the eyes in the dark remained, waiting for their next unsuspecting visitor. Let's revisit the chilling tale we just heard. The story started innocently enough, a solo camping trip, deep into the wilderness, the tranquility of nature, the crackling fire, and the twinkling stars above. But as darkness enveloped the campsite, our lone camper began to feel an unsettling presence. The first hint of danger was the rustling of leaves, too rhythmic to be a random act of nature. Then came the whispers, carried by the wind, almost imperceptible but unmistakably human. It was the eyes, however, that truly struck terror into the heart of our camper. A pair of glowing eyes peering from the dark, watching, waiting. The camper was plunged into a night of horror, stalked by the unseen entity, haunted by the relentless gaze of the eyes in the dark. Despite the terror, our camper survived the night, escaping the forest at dawn, but forever marked by the chilling encounter. Remember, the eyes in the dark are always watching, always waiting. Have you ever felt the prickling sensation of an unseen threat lurking nearby? In the heart of the dense forest, under a moonless night, a solitary camper sat huddled by the fire. The flickering flames cast eerie shadows, dancing in the silence of the wilderness. A sense of unease began to creep in, as if he was not alone. As the night deepened, so did his paranoia. The crackling fire, the rustling leaves, the hooting owls, all began to sound like whispers of an impending doom. Each noise seemed to echo a warning, each shadow seemed to hide a lurking menace. The camper's heart pounded in his chest as the primal fear of the unknown took hold. The campsite, once a sanctuary, turned into a stage for strange occurrences. The camper's belongings started to disappear, only to reappear in the most unexpected places. His food was tampered with, his tent seemed to move slightly from its original spot, and his flashlight flickered on and off on its own accord. He felt watched, followed, and hunted. Despite the bone-chilling fear, the camper decided to investigate the disturbances. Armed with nothing but his failing flashlight and his courage, he ventured into the dark woods. He searched for any signs of an intruder, his senses heightened by fear. The forest came alive around him, each rustle, each snap of a twig, echoing the presence of the unseen threat. Then, the shocking revelation hit him. In the forest, he was never alone. The unseen threat was not just a product of his imagination. It was as real as the cold sweat running down his spine, as real as the fear gripping his heart. He was not the hunter, but the hunted. He was not the observer, but the observed. The unseen threat lurking in the shadows was not a ghost or a monster, but something far more terrifying. It was the silent predator of the forest, the embodiment of the wild. It was the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unseen. As the saying goes, what you can't see can indeed hurt you. The unseen threat, a silent predator in the night, let's break it down. Our lone camper, amidst the serenity of the forest, found himself in the grip of an invisible menace. The suspense thickened with each passing moment, as the silence of the night was intermittently broken by eerie sounds. A twig snapping, leaves rustling, the distant howl. The terror was not in what could be seen or heard, but in the chilling unknown. This story took us on a haunting journey through the camper's escalating fear. It reminded us of the primal dread that seeps into our bones when we realize we are not alone. The unseen threat, lurking just beyond the edge of perception, was a master stroke of suspense and horror. It was not a beast nor a ghost, but the insidious fear of the unknown that held us captive. Beware, the unseen threat is always closer than you think. Before we unveil the final tale, a quick reminder. If these spine-chilling stories have sent shivers down your spine, do subscribe to our channel for your regular dose of horror. And don't keep the scares to yourself. Share this video with friends who relish a good fright. Together, let's delve deeper into the terrifying abyss of the unknown. Remember, your support fuels our journey into the heart of darkness. Stay tuned, the final tale awaits. What happens when a forgotten curse resurfaces in the heart of the forest? Our third tale of terror takes us deeper into the woods, where the silent whispers of ancient trees echo with forgotten curses. On a solo camping trip, our protagonist stumbles upon a relic of the past, an ancient artifact buried under the roots of a gnarled old tree. It's an intriguing find, wrapped in mystery as deep as the forest itself. But little does our camper know, this artifact is more than just an antique, it's a harbinger of doom. Soon after unearthing the artifact, the camper is plagued by disturbing nightmares, dreams of shadowy figures lurking in the forest, of haunting chants in a language long lost to time, and an overwhelming sense of dread that refuses to fade with the dawn. Each night the dreams grow more vivid, more terrifying, until they're so real that the line between dream and reality begins to blur. In the cold light of day, the camper brushes off these nightmares as mere figments of an overactive imagination. But as the days turn into nights, the terror refuses to subside. The forest seems to close in, its once familiar sounds replaced with eerie silence, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the eerie echoes of those haunting chants from the dreams. The horrifying realization hits when the camper stumbles upon an old, forgotten legend. A tale of an ancient curse tied to an artifact, lost in the heart of the forest. A curse that awakens when disturbed, bringing forth unspeakable terror upon the one who dares to disrupt its slumber. The artifact, the nightmares, the eerie silence, they all add up. The forgotten curse has been awakened. As the terror unfolds, our camper is left to face the horrifying consequences of disturbing the forgotten. A chilling reminder that some things, especially in the depths of the forest, are better left undisturbed. And the forgotten curse? It was forgotten no more. A curse that was forgotten yet never truly gone. Here's a recap. We delved into the eerie tale of the forgotten curse, a haunting legacy that lingers in the heart of the deep forest, a chilling reminder that the past can sometimes reach out and touch us in the most unexpected ways. Our protagonist, despite his bravery and wilderness skills, found himself ensnared in a web of ancient malevolence. The ominous signs, the unsettling whispers in the wind, and the uncanny feeling of being watched all culminated in the terrifying revelation of the forgotten curse. This curse, a sinister echo from the past, served as a stark reminder of the unseen dangers that lurk in the forest's dark corners. These three tales, each more spine-chilling than the last, remind us of the unnerving mysteries and untold horrors that lurk within the isolated forests. So the next time you venture into the wild, remember, in the deep forest, you're never truly alone.